So it's been years that I feel like the Cowboys fan base has been clamoring for, Steven and Jerry Jones to go out there and sign a safety. And, we did it this offseason, right? We signed 3 guys that played the safety position last year. Obviously, one being Keanu Neal, who's transitioned to a weak side linebacker right now. We also signed Jaron Curse, and we signed DeMonte KZ, who was a total ball hawk in his time with Atlanta, obviously dealt with injuries the last season. So they've gone out and they added those 3 guys. But man, the safety room just got even more stacked. We added some more depth because apparently Malik Hooker is visiting the Cowboys for the 2nd time this offseason. And if everything goes well physically, he's expected to sign to the 90-man roster. I gotta tip my hat to this signing. I think it's a good pickup for the Cowboys. We get to add another veteran to our secondary. I think people are looking at that CB2 spot if we're gonna go for a veteran, but to have an insurance policy and a guy like Malik Hooker, who was a first-round pick in 2017, that is an absolute huge pickup. I think it's good because, him and DeMonte KZ both suffered Achilles injuries last year, so it takes the pressure off, in case one of those guys goes down, we have another guy just to slot right in. And I think it's a good situation for Malik Hooker. He doesn't have to run back. We've seen KZ perform in OTAs, and he's looking quick, looking good, coming back from that injury. So yeah, what a pickup. I really wasn't expecting this. And when he went for that visit way back in March, everyone was harassing him online to sign, and then, it didn't look like it was going to happen. Then, he's visiting with a few other teams. I know he met with the Steelers, and I guess nothing came of that. I think there might have been a visit with the Dolphins, not sure. But yeah, it looks like we're adding another veteran safety. But I just want to touch on a few things in training camp. Obviously, one of the big stories there is Ezekiel Elliott. He's looking phenomenal, looking in the best shape of his life. We've all seen the side-by-side picture of Joe Looney and Ezekiel Elliott, and Ezekiel Elliott looks ripped. He looks quick, lean, explosive. There was a play in camp where he was taking the edge on Parsons, and man, Zeke looks fast. I think he's going to have a great season this year. Apparently, it's the lightest weight he's been since his freshman year at Ohio State, so with a healthy line in front of him and this newly lean Zeke, I think we can expect some big things in the run game this season. Another thing I wanted to touch on is Nahshon Wright. This guy is just continuing to impress. It was back in OTAs where he was making plays, getting past breakups. That playmaking ability has just followed through and continued through into training camp. Mickey Spagnuolo said, he's always making plays on the ball, 1 or 2 every practice. They're even saying he made about 3 plays within 6 snaps. So this was a guy that people criticized his picks, and we stretched on taking him in the 3rd round. People had him projected, 6th, 7th round, undrafted, and for us to take him in the 3rd round was crazy. But it looks like it's paying off, and he's showing up. So can't wait to see how that battle at that second corner position goes. We have the immensely talented Kelvin Joseph competing for that spot too. But yeah, something to keep your eye on for sure. They say Nahshon Wright, he just has that athleticism and his length that he's just able to close out plays so quickly. And he just seems to have some good ball instincts. So one of the other things I just got to touch on is injuries. So it was revealed that Greg Zuerlein had back surgery in the offseason. It wasn't something that was out there that publicly, so that one kind of caught me by surprise. But there seems to be no concerns around his health according to the coaching staff, and they expect he'll be fine. But Mickey Spagnuolo made another comment which was quite interesting. It was about Tristan Hill. So Mike McCarthy said, out of all the guys on the physically unable to perform list, so guys like DeMarcus Lawrence, Malik Hooker being notable, there's also Tristan Hill. And out of all those guys, Tristan Hill is probably the furthest from returning to the team. And Mickey Spagnuolo brought up a really interesting tactic or fact, which is that he suspects that the team could just leave him on the physically unable to perform list. By doing so, he wouldn't have to report to camp, and that's big in a few reasons. It gives him extra time to be able to heal from that ACL tear that he had last season. But the second thing, we have a logjam at defensive tackle, right? We went out there, we signed guys like Brent Urban, Carlos Watkins, we drafted Osa Digizua and Quinton Bohanna. Not to mention we have second-year defensive tackle Neville Gallimore, who's looked primed to have a good season this year. So there is quite a logjam at defensive tackle. So by Tristan Hill staying on the PUP list, this allows us to keep him on the roster without counting against that 53-man roster, and allows us to carry him into week 6 before we have to make a decision. So this is something there to keep your eyes on for sure. But yeah, I'm hyped. Training camp's well underway, and yeah, I'm just can't wait for Cowboys football. I went out and picked up my DAZN subscription. So being up in Canada, we get our NFL Game Pass through DAZN. So I just grabbed that today, and it's got some great content on there. It's got all the previous Hard Knocks, so I'm probably going to rewatch 2002 and 2008 just to get ready for this year. And I'll probably go onto Amazon Prime and work my way through the All or Nothing that was on the 2017 season 2. But man, Cowboys football is getting back. We're getting close. And you know what? I think we're going to have a big year. And I just want to hear what your predictions are. We're seeing this new lead Zeke. How do you think Zeke is going to do this year? Who do you think is going to win that second cornerback position? And what do you think of the Malik Hooker signing? All right, Cowboys Collective out.